Hey, what's going on? Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning. Okay, so, kick it off real quick. Couple things, right? So, man, I'll tell you what. There's nothing more frustrating than sitting in front of a computer and not being able to get something just right. Because, I mean, there's something in general about putting in a lot of effort into something and not getting it done, right? Or not really getting much headway with it. And that's kind of how I felt last night. I was trying to find a way to create an introduction video for the website. And I don't know, I literally sat there in front of the script. I thought I had everything ready to go. I was just going to start recording last night because it's like, hey, I took the time and got a script ready. And then I read it and I'm like, this is trash. So I did something else. This is too wordy. I want it to be more kind of like, hey, this is what it is, man, you know? And just super straightforward for the audience so they know exactly what it is I'm trying to do. But maybe I'm still trying to figure out what it is I'm trying to do. I mean, I know in my heart, it's just like, I'm trying to make a business, so I'm trying to like bring people along with the ride, but it's just like, you don't just say it like that, you know. I have to keep in consideration that like people are going to be coming because they're coming from my book, or checking something out because they see that I'm trying to do something. But I want to make that video make them feel welcomed and not just telling a big long story about myself, which I felt it was kind of like that last night. So I ended up just saying screw it. I said, you know what? I said this several times, mind you, too. I was just like, I'm just going to stop at such and such time, and then I'm just going to follow with that. And, well, I did that a couple times before I actually had something, and I did record it on my computer, the audio at least. And it's mediocre. I really don't know how I feel about it, but that's kind of beside the point, you know? I understand in the back of my head that that video is probably not going to be the thing that's going to be on there for very long, especially as I come up with a better idea and I'll run with it. But I need an introduction video, or at least I feel I do. It was part of my goals, so I had to finish it. So, I guess I'll just put some BS video. I didn't have time to do that last night because I spent so much time pining over the damn script that I couldn't manage to get any video done. So, and then I was just like, you know, I'm just going to take random video footage that I already took before, but it was kind of a little bit off the walls, so it just didn't seem right. So I'm at a little bit of a stalemate right there. But on the positive side of things, keeping that story in mind right now too, right? So I'm not super discouraged about it because, well, quick story. So I remember before when I started getting back, I had the idea. It's just like, okay, I'm ready to start making YouTube videos again. I'm ready to start making YouTube videos again because I was inspired from listening to the one book that I'm listening to again right now by Gerry Banfield, who, it's really interesting because I didn't know about this guy. Like, when I was listening to the YouTube video, I didn't know that this was that guy. Now, who is that guy? Now, a lot of people don't know who Gerry Banfield is, but if you were ever into like cryptocurrency and stuff like that, you probably detest the name because he was absolutely like the only thing you would see for platforms like Steamit and stuff like that. See, I used to be pretty big on the cryptocurrency market and try to figure out what would be beneficial. I don't know, you know, just studying. There's a lot of potential for great money, and I saw at the tail end of 2017, it's just like my one buddy's account went skyrocketed up, like, I don't know how many percentage wise, but he had something like over $200,000 in his account. And it's just like, come on, man. Maybe I should have listened to some of the stuff he was saying before. Now, I'd already been investing, so my account went up, but then the down crash came and it went down. I went from like investing, I don't know, it was like maybe $600 to $1,000, but at one point it was like $8,000. I'm just like, holy heaven. So that was cool, and I should have pulled out, but I didn't because I don't think anyone saw that it was going to go down. Now, it could still go back up, whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is during that time, I was on a platform called Steamit, and for those who aren't familiar with it, is a place where people can make blog posts and get paid for it. Now, I say paid in quotation because you don't technically get money for your posts. In a way you do, in a way you don't. What you do is people will vote it, kind of like they would like a YouTube video, where they can give you an upvote or they can even give you a downvote, and depending on that person's influence on the platform is going to determine how much it affects the amount of cryptocurrency that you would get on that platform. So Steam was the I hope I didn't run over birds just now. I literally just went in front of my car. I just played on the floor. But there was like Steam, and then there was Steam Power, and then there was I forget what the third one was, but you had one element that was your influence over the platform, meaning it gave you higher power for your upvotes and stuff. And then the actual thing that you try to exchange it out of is Steam, which is universally traded. You can go to a third-party exchange or something, and then you can convert that into money, essentially. So you could be getting paid for it, but it was a little bit of a process to get your money. Now, I ended up not going through the process to take it out because I figured, okay, well, I invested a lot of time. I was doing posts and stuff like that for a little while. And ultimately, when it went down, I'm like, well, there's no point in taking the money out because it's just like, I didn't put that much to begin with. Plus, if I take it out now, I'm taking it out as a super, super loss. Like, what the heck is the point of that? So, I'm getting off topic right now. So, we're talking about Gerry Banfield, right? Well, he was a guy notoriously everywhere. He was kind of awkward, funny-looking guy. And you kind of rolled his eye. You would kind of roll your eyes when you saw him because he would always be talking about like tips of the cryptocurrency market and stuff. And he had a lot of influence on the site. And pretty much you'd go and check out his posts and see if you can't get him to give you an upvote or something like that because he had a lot of influential power. But he was really awkward and really kind of funny the way he did stuff. Well, I didn't realize that the YouTube video at the time, the first time I went through, was written by him. And it makes so much sense because I'm just going through a lot of reason why he sounded awkward and a whole bunch of other stuff is because he didn't waste so much time with a lot of editing and worrying about this, that, or the other. He is literally the physical manifestation of what I'm kind of trying to do with my entire life / business. He has the philosophy, much like myself, or maybe I even, dare I say, adopted it from him by some ways or another, subconsciously or otherwise, who knows. But he doesn't really worry about like a lot of editing and stuff like that. He just kind of so I just got done like listening to a segment of the book, right? Well, I didn't realize this, but the whole freaking audiobook that I'm listening to is just something where he sat down at his computer and just started jetting off a bunch of ideas. And he even says, I'm not sure if this is going to go on Audible or whatever. And I'm listening to a lot of his strategies, and he's talking about like making extremely long videos for YouTube, like 9-hour tutorial videos and stuff like that. And as I'm hearing this, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. But he specifically talks, and this is the most inspiring part, about how, there's so much content that he has. He saved himself extremely high amounts of time by not having to worry about edit all that content out. And plus, he, at this point, prefers the voice of the natural, person speaking live from the heart versus, as he puts it, a mindful approach. I think that's how he said it. Very mind-oriented approach where, it's super edited. And he's talking about Eckhart Tolle at this point and talking about how he was funny in person, but in an audiobook, The Power of Now, he wasn't so much because he be, I don't know, it was like edited out, essentially. Here, let me pull in here. I try to keep these as nice and fluid as possible, but obviously when I get different traffic and stuff, I get a little bit distracted. That's the only negative side of doing this like this, but either way, we're still in flow, so it's no big deal. Okay. So, well, why am I saying all this anyways? So, it's super encouraging because even though I come back to this over and over again, I keep needing to remind myself, listen, you just need to keep making stuff. Like right now, you become better at speaking by just speaking, right? Making videos and stuff like that. You slowly become more and more engaging, and you've got different issues when you're a low, small potatoes kind of farmer, content creator, than you would if you were like a big name or something. You know, you got certain restrictions. He goes over that too, and I understand these principles. But the part that I think it gets a lot to people is that you want to edit stuff, you want to make things better, you want to keep doing things that are just going to be more appealing, but it's like, no, just put stuff out there. You know, all of the best stuff is going to just get redone anyways, probably. I mean, unless you hit it really perfectly the first time, or you just do it like a shotgun, you just boom, 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 content, coming out of your face. And that's cool with me too. It's just like, hey, there's something really cool about being able to just talk about whatever it is that's on your mind, And that sounds like a broken record because I've said this so many times, but why am I talking about all this stuff in general? Well, it's simple. I have a whole bunch of different things in my life that I would work on. I struggled with trying to choose one because we live in a society where people expect you to specialize, and if you don't, then you're going to be stuck accomplishing nothing, being a jack of all trades but a master of none. And then I came to a point where it's just like, I don't want to give up one thing for the other. If I like making music and I like making books and being a motivational speaker / entertainer, talking about dicks and stuff in my music, why do I have to give up one to be the other? It's all us. It's our personalities. It's who we are. So one way to get around that is just be who the hell you are, So it's cool being able to talk about that, and it's cool that I'm able to possibly make a business out of it, because so many people I feel are trapped in not being able to feel like they can be themselves. They have to feel like they have to be some standard, and yes, of course you do, and there's certain civil standards and so forth, but you don't need to necessarily be congruent with yourself. You can just be all over the place, as Gandhi would say. He follows truth, not consistency. It didn't matter that one day he was doing one thing and another day he did a different thing, because he said, I don't follow consistency, I follow truth. So therefore my consistency is, well, I don't know the end of that quote, but you get what I'm trying to say. So that's all I've got for right now. Pretty inspired. So maybe I'll even get myself to just start my audiobook, right? I mean, I already have my book ready. Just do it, figure it out. Hell, make an impromptu book or an impromptu video or audiobook and just see how it goes. Because worst case, I mean, there is no worst case, right? You look way far into the future, and it doesn't matter. I talk about like death and stuff before, and stoicism, and thinking about how fruitful it really is to worry about death and all these other principles. But at the end of the day, just think of time in general. 200 years from now, you don't have to think if you're going to be alive 200 years from now. Just think about how much world has changed, even if you are alive. Even if we've broken into the success of how you can live forever. Well, 200 years is such a long time. Who knows what kind of world we're going to be living in? So you got to keep thinking way out there. What's way out there? Because what you're doing right now is small potatoes. It doesn't matter. But hopefully it was at least entertaining or inspirational or something. But that's what we got sort of today. So, hey, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.